Hi everyone, I believe the night is darkest before the dawn, and I'm sending you all lots of love. It feels like all this sludge is being brought up to the surface recently. All the darkness that was just under the surface for so long is above water. It's really painful and heartbreaking, but I've seen such kindness in the world too. People really trying to make a change or speak out or lend a helping hand. There is a lot of light, and I think it's going to dry out the sludge, and the world will be a better place in the end. I've been fighting some of my own demons too, like you do, but so far everything's worked out. I've also been cooking up a storm, making a lot of breakfasts and pastries. I learned how to make this puff pastry dough recently, and I've been kind of going crazy with it, but it's so tasty it's hard not to. I've also been spending as much time as I can outdoors in my garden. Despite my namesake, I'm not actually very good at gardening, but the iris sprung up this year, and they all smell like Kool-Aid, which is amazing and mysterious. I've also decided to try and grow my own food this year. These little tomatoes are my first attempt, so fingers crossed. Doing all the things that make me happy while I'm at home has helped me realize what I want to change in my life. One of them being I've always felt about being asthmatic. I've had asthma since I was 2 months old and was in and out of the hospital for most of my childhood. Every sleepover or play date usually resulted in having an asthma attack. I started to hate my inhaler, hate that I even needed it, I wanted to climb trees and run under the stars and not have to carry this thing with me all the time. I'm so lucky to have something to treat my lungs. I know that. My mom, she's also an asthmatic, and before she had an inhaler, she would just have to sit still for hours and wait for her lungs to open back up. But it felt unfair as a kid to not fit in because of something that was totally out of my control. Not to mention all the fun stuff I missed out on being sick. Then when I had to use my inhaler, I would feel really embarrassed. So in the nature of healing and self-love, I thought it might be time to face the beast. So I decided to paint my inhaler and make it something I love instead. I decided I wanted to paint something really soft and pretty, so I painted these fluffy, happy clouds and a night sky. I used acrylic paint, which I would thin out more next time. When I paint, time totally stops, and hours feel like minutes. It's my favorite thing to get lost in, and it's something I'm trying to do more of. I decided to make the center section blue, like a night sky, and the rest of it kind of more dusky pink. I went ahead and added some more clouds into my center night sky using kind of swirly brush strokes. I did speed up the video a little bit, so I wasn't quite this fast, but it didn't take too long to paint the whole thing. As you can see, it was a bit messy, so next time I'd also probably put it on a stand or something like that instead. But I really don't mind getting my hands dirty either. It's part of the fun, right? So I went ahead and added some pink accents to the clouds in the center, and then some blue accents to everything else, just to give it more depth and kind of continue the pastel theme and just make it a little bit more interesting. I then went ahead and added some white back in and kind of blended everything out to make the transitions a bit more smooth. I think my favorite thing about painting nature and the sky is it doesn't have to be perfect. There's not really rules. You can kind of just go with your gut and your intuition and what inspires you the most, what you see the most. And I think that's a really beautiful thing. I, an avid Sailor Moon fan, of course, love moons, so I had to add that in. And then I wanted to add in a nice little starry sky. There were some bits that I didn't quite do perfectly, but again, that's part of the fun, and it's paint, so it's all fixable, which is also nice. So I wanted to paint the cap to match, so I started with a pink base, just like the rest of the inhaler, and then added in kind of an amorphous blob of a white cloud. I wanted to show layers in this cap, since it'll be one of the focal points. So I wanted to add in purple next, and then I wanted to add in some blue to be like the sky, being careful not to cover up too much of the purple so that I could still see the layers. It was kind of awkward to hold the cap, but this worked, so I'm happy with it. Next, I went in with a little bit of white acrylic and added some more stars and starbursts just to keep with the night theme. I realized watching this, I typically have worse asthma at night, so I guess in a way that kind of works too. The painting's all done. I went ahead and cleaned up around the mouthpiece with some rubbing alcohol to get rid of the extra paint there. And then I'm going to go ahead and spray it with a clear coat of spray paint. That way it's a bit protective and hopefully I don't have to be too careful with it. I also like that the spray paint gives it more of a shiny, polished look. And there you have it, it's all done. I'm actually really happy with how this turned out and I can't wait to use it. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're all doing well. Much love, and until next time.